So welcome. This is the Tri-City Herald Editorial Board meeting with Franklin County Commission candidates Rocky Mullen and Ana Ruiz Peralta. And I think what I'll do is I'll introduce the board. First, I'm going to go over a few ground rules, though. Everything's on the record. We do have a reporter. He's observing. That's Cameron Probert. He may write a story, but he will not weigh in on our discussion afterward. So he's here just to take notes. We'll get started. I'm Cecilia Rexis, and I'm editorial writer. We have Lori Williams. She's the executive editor of the Tri-City Herald. And we have Jack Briggs. He is a retired publisher at the Tri-City Herald. So I guess we can start with the 2-minute opening. And I'm just going to be random about it. Anna, you're on my left, so I'm going to just go with you. Okay, so go ahead and just start when you want to, and I'll time you for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Well, thank you again for the invitation. Do you remember the year 2016? If you were in Franklin County, you definitely remember this year. Our community was in crisis. Co-founded the Pasco Taco Crawl, which stimulated the economy and brought our community together, and over the years has improved the perception of how Franklin County is perceived. As a tester, monitor, translator, and interpreter for 12 years, I learned about the importance of listening and working with people from all backgrounds. As an award-winning agent for 5 years, I listened to hundreds of small and large businesses learn about their issues affecting our communities and the legislative process. As a current board chair of Tri-Cities Community,
I'm sorry, my internet is.
Leadership we need in the commission has been recognized by a diverse of community leaders. I believe it's the moment for our county to have the leadership.
Okay, just 1 sec, see if she unfreezes here. Okay.
Yeah, I've been frozen
Okay.
almost the whole time. I don't know why.
The county and to lead the county and to make the hard decisions that lie ahead. I know what it takes to get the job started, maintained, and completed. I have attended the commissioners' meetings over the past 4 years on a regular basis, so I would know what lies ahead and the current situation that we are here in Franklin County. Together with a willingness to work hard, we can accomplish great things to enhance our lives here in Franklin County. I am prepared and I am ready for the challenges that lie ahead. We need to address any and all hurdles that hold back progress and invest in solutions that will help Franklin County prosper. We must make back to a full recovery. So all county departments need to work together. We need to unite. We need more community involvement, and I believe I can lead the way to encourage that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm just
Go ahead and maybe say why you feel like, what is the biggest difference between you and Anna for this position?
Well, with I have, like I said, 35 years of business experience. I'm a lifelong resident of Franklin County. My family's been here since the early 40s, and the 35 years of business experience I think is necessary for the job that lies ahead. I think that we need people that are experienced in business, that know how to negotiate, know how to work together with other people, and know how to lead. And I believe I possess those qualities.
Anna, what would you say distinguishes you from Rocky?
Well, thank you for the question. I've had a business as well. I worked for 12 years for Pacific Interpreters as an interpreter, a tester, and a monitor. And also while doing something that I have proven experience there as well. As a commissioner on the Washington State Commission on Hispanic Affairs, I became familiar with the legislative process. I developed those relationships as well. I was a board member of DPDA, Downtown Pasco Development Authority Board, where I have the trust and the support with a lot of the businesses in downtown. I understand their hurdles. I understand the challenges that they have, and I was able to be part of this board. By being part of this board, I also understood how can I best help them. So in this position as a commissioner, I think we've always heard about the relationship that the city, the school district, the ports, the PUDs, and the commissioners have to have in order to improve the quality of life that we have. So that's something that I think I have those relationships and those experience. So that's another part that I bring to the table. And as a board chair, I have been unanimously voted in as a chair twice. So that's something that my board and they've already have identified me as a leader. I was the Athena Award recipient, the Young Athena Award by the Regional Chamber of Commerce. So which is a recognition to business leaders, women business leaders, and that also invest in their community. For me, it's not only important to have a job, to bring food to the table, but also how do I give back? So that's something that I've been practicing for more than 10 years. Thank you.
And Rocky mentioned his attendance at the county commission meetings. What have you been attending those this year or longer?
Yes, so I've been very involved with the city, the school district, the ports, and the county. I became more curious about because I've heard that they've some hurdles and the challenges that they were facing, some inconsistencies, and so I started attending the commissioners meetings. And now we cannot be in person, so now we have to attend via YouTube. So that's what I've been also learning and attending. Yes, the answer is yes.
Rocky, what sort of a job would you say the commissioners are doing? How would you grade them?
How to grade them? Well, I would have done things a little bit differently. And I think we need to concentrate on how we can safely get the county back opened up again. And the closure of our county has really hurt our small businesses. It's hurt the mental health of our children. And I think there should have been a stronger effort to see how we could legally, safely open the county back up.
How would you have voted if you were there as a commissioner on the day they took the vote to open up the county? How would you have voted?
Well, I would have hoped that we would have done some research prior to an announcement to a vote. I think that the vote was brought up without any due diligence, and I think I would have postponed a week and got legal counsel and counsel from local doctors and their input and find out what is the safe way that we could open the county back up.
So you would have voted which way? You would have voted to open or to pause?
I would have voted to postpone it for 1 week with the idea of opening it back up.
How would you have voted if you were at the meeting when the vote was rescinded?
I would have voted to open the county. I would have voted to open up it. I don't know if you can hear me or.
I can hear you.
No,
Okay,
you would have.
all right.
So you would have voted to defy the governor.
Well, I think that raises the question of, is his orders legal? Because I know that the lawsuit that was filed against him, they said that the mandates were not legal. I mean, he did have 2 weeks of emergency management that he could enforce. But my understanding is the judge ruled him as his mandates as not being legal. So therefore, like I said before, we should have had more legal counsel to establish what our rights were, and could we open, and could we open up safely.
You didn't feel that was the vote for, that would be a risky health vote?
Well, I do believe that we do need to take precautions to protect those that are at risk. And from my understanding, talking with local doctors, as far as like the children going to school, children 10 and under have a 0.018% chance of contacting or spreading COVID, which is next to nothing. And I think,
Anna, how would you have voted?
pardon me?
I'm asking Anna how she would have voted.
Let me back up a little bit. The commissioners are also sit on the public health board, and therefore they have a unique experience and advice of our public health experts. They are the ones that can help us, and that's their expertise to lead us to have a healthy community. And in this case, the commissioners have their expertise readily available to open back up just because you are talking to a few doctors. That is not talking to the experts. I would have, and so that's one piece. The other piece is I just cannot see on my board or the boards that I have served to have worked with behind the doors with any board members to unanimously or without consulting with our legal counsel, with, in this case, the county administrator, with the experts, and to bring them into this conversation. So I just cannot see how that was done. It was reckless. Even waiting a week, that's something that it would not have brought the virus under control. It would have exposed our workers and our essential workers, which we know as of today still, they are the ones that are more at risk, and they are the ones with the highest infection rate. So if you are an ag, and if you are close to that industry, you know how vulnerable the farmers are. So I would not have even considered that. That's my answer.
You would have voted against it.
Absolutely.
So can I follow up on that question of Jack's just a little bit with Rocky? He said that the second time around, he would have voted to open, as I understood it. So you would have told businesses in Franklin County that the county says you're open, and yet that leaves any business that opens liable to substantial fines and the loss of their state business license, without which they cannot do business. How would you handle that?
Well, like I said before, I would have consulted with legal advice before making any decision, because I understand as a small business the ramifications of L&I and them coming in and finding your business. I've had them come into my business and give me just fines that were totally out of control. And yet when you go to challenge those fines, they have their own court system. And I wouldn't want that to go to anybody. My personal experience with them, I mean, I met with them 3 different times on an issue regarding fines at my business where they had never even stepped foot in there before. And the 3rd time I met with them, they told me to bring my last 3 years' tax returns. And I thought that was odd. But when I got there, they introduced me to a gentleman who was an ex-IRS agent, and he was going to go through my tax returns to find out how much I could afford to pay of their fines. So I understand the ramifications of opening up, and that is why I would have went with legal counsel to find out exactly where we stand. Is can we open safely and with opening up without any fines being put against our businesses by the state L&I? That's a difficult question to ask, because without legal advice, I wouldn't have made a decision either way. I would have been encouraged to open up. That would have been my goal. And I would have done the homework to find out if we could open up without ramifications from state agencies.
How would you assess, Rocky, the job the health district has done on the pandemic? And do you feel like their funding is that they're overfunded or underfunded?
I believe they're adequately funded. And I believe that we need to have more input from other people, maybe doctors in this area, that would understand the health of our community and be able to bring that information forward so that we can make an educated decision on the health of our community.
So you don't trust the doctors that are working for the health district? You don't think their
I
word
wouldn't
is
say I don't
enough?
trust them, but it's just I'm getting conflicting answers from different doctors. And that leads me to question, why are we getting conflicting answers to this situation?
Anna, how do you feel about that? The health districts, the job they've done?
I think they have done, with the resources that they've had, they have done an amazing job. I am at awe to what they've been able to accomplish with the resources that they've had. When I started looking at, so again, coming back from my experience with the community health center, we collaborate. Tri-City's Community Health collaborates with the public health department. And I was aware of their funding problems. And that's why they have to seek partnerships with other community agencies and healthcare agencies, TCCH being one of them. So when I looked at their budget, and their mission is to keep a community safe and health of over 280,000 residents. And I looked at their budget, and it was only 11 million. I just couldn't believe it. I looked at the different services that they provide, and then I started asking, is this appropriate funding? And it is not. It was not appropriately funded before, and that's one of the problems that they had. So now they are facing a public health crisis and a pandemic. So they've been able to do an amazing job given the resources that they had. The other part that we have to remember, and the CARES Act allocated 2.2 million to them. And the commissioners, from one week to another, one week they said we're looking at giving we have allocation 2.2 million to the health department. The next meeting they said that they only gave them 780,000. When I asked why, and they said that's all they asked for, I challenged that. So after that, I hear them, the public health. Benjamin Franklin Public Health, they are asked how they're doing, and they said, we wish we had 3 times more of the resources that we have right now. So that tells me that they needed the 2.2. The 780,000 is not enough. It's not enough to give them. They have to beg for contact tracers to be volunteers, people that don't even have public health background. So they have to do that. We have amazing heroes right now. So to say that our public health district has been, prior to COVID, funded appropriately I don't think that's true. And even now, with the resources that the federal government sent through the Public CARES Act, they've got stripped off of the resources that they needed to help us and to lead us out of this pandemic. So I don't agree. Sorry.
Rocky, it would seem that you have a better understanding, if only from your attendance at the meetings, of the nitty-gritty of county government. It would seem that Ana has excellent community knowledge. What do you have with connections with the community? What organization do you have? Are you getting the feeling of the community through?
Well, as like I said, as a lifelong resident of Franklin County and a local businessman for years, I mean, I used to manage the Pasco Ranch and Home. I've owned my own business here for over 20 years. I've lived here my whole life. Our family has been here forever. But we have strong roots here in the agricultural community and the business community. I do work very, very closely with the Benton Franklin Fair. I help out with any donations whenever they need any for the farm fair for the kids, fundraising activities with them, and fundraising activities with the school. So I believe I'm pretty well connected to the community.
Rocky, is your philosophy on government and individual freedom in line with that of Commissioner Didier? As you exhibited, you've seen it exhibited at the meetings.
Well, I do believe in the Constitution, and we have a law and order that needs to be followed. Yes. As far as what Clint, you know, I don't study him by any means, but I think that he stands for the Constitution and what is right and what is wrong. And what I see happening today in our country is you know, it's scary. I mean, it looks like we're leaning towards, you know, socialism. And I guess my philosophy on socialism, you know, it works until you run out of other people's money. And we cannot continue to tax our businesses and our people to the point that where there's no incentive for them to keep working. I don't know what's going to happen now with all the money that's been passed out and people are being paid to stay home. That money's going to have to come from somewhere. And as a business person, I know that small businesses were taxed to the point to where we're being taxed out of business. I mean, businesses are leaving Washington State because we're being overtaxed. And our leadership, Inslee, he doesn't even see that. I mean, Boeing is not pulling out of Seattle because they have very good tax incentives. They're leaving because they got overtaxed. And his solution is, hey, if you're going to stay, we're going to tax you more. And he doesn't even realize that's why they're leaving.
Ana, do you feel that way?
No. Our Constitution, you know.
A little closer. Okay. All right.
Whether we like it or not, laws are laws. Okay, so we have to follow them. And there's no way that even with our legal counsel, in our case is our prosecutor. He's been saying for months, this is illegal. What you guys are trying to do is not possible. Yes, follow the laws. Okay, so there's no way that you and I or the commissioners are going to change that right now. So we have to follow, and they're there for a reason. Okay, so I can think of having and swearing in to uphold the Constitution and the laws, and then trying to pick and choose which laws I want to uphold and which ones I don't think are fair. I'm sorry. No, I don't agree. Imagine the legal challenge and the legal risk that we are putting our county. It's just the liability. I just can't imagine. So sorry, sir. I don't agree with you.
How do you feel, Anna, about dividing the Benton and Franklin Superior Court district? That's an issue that's come up before.
That's something that Franklin County was caught off guard when that was put in on one of the bills. We didn't know that that was being worked behind the scenes. This is a relationship that we have for close to 70 years, maybe a little more. So we are Tri-Cities for a reason. You know, we're not Tri-Cities just because it's the name, but we have these relationships, whether it's business, whether it's family, and in this case, these agencies that both counties manage together, it has been efficient. And I think the friction that the commissioners have been having over the decades is what has caused some commissioners to work behind the scenes to separate these services. So I think we can mend. Everything that we do is about relationships. So I believe that we can mend these relationships and let the courts do their job. That they are professionals. What is it that they need from the commissioners so they can provide services to our residents? That's my philosophy always, to the professionals, that they are there to do their job. They know what they're doing. My question is, how can I help you? You know, what is it that you need for you to be successful? In the case of the courts, what is it that you need from both counties so they can be successful? Imagine if we separate, we're going to have to now appoint or have judges from both counties, have to have jails from both counties. We're going to have, you know, the juvenile justice system. We're going to have 2 of them. It's just all of that. I don't think we're ready. We're not even financially, but our communities are very close knit together, and I don't think it would be beneficial for either county. So,
Rocky?
Yes.
Yeah, how do you feel about that issue?
We should stay together. We should not split the court systems. We're too much of an intertwined community. So I don't see it benefits either county to separate them. We should stay together. We're a small, tight-knit community, and our legal system should work together with each other. Therefore, we should not separate them.
You guys agree on something? Okay.
I have a question.
we have a deep love for the community. That's something that we know, we agree that we love the community. So that's what we're raising our hand to help. It's just a matter of which philosophy you agree with.
So I have a question. Beyond the pandemic and beyond the economy, what is your primary concern for Franklin County? Is there something else that is on your mind? I'll let Anna go first. Another issue.
And I have to remind people all the time, we have the My Tri 2030 efforts, which is our collective vision as Tri-Cities on where do we want to be in the next 20 years. Franklin County, we went through that process before the My Tri 2030 is called Somos Pasco, or We Are Pasco, which I was part of that executive committee that got together and we started working. We brought stakeholders, community leaders, and the county participated, the city, the port, the school district, the universities, and all that. So we've interviewed, we went to different festivals and we asked people and we asked the businesses, and where do you see Franklin County in 30 years? What do you think we're doing good? What keeps you here? What are your hopes? And it was amazing to see that from the everyday people to the business owners to superintendents and everyone, we saw what we've heard. It was the common is that we are a safe community, that we have a good future, and everybody they are here. There's a reason why we're keep growing for the last 20 years. We have an exponential growth. So overall, we saw people were hopeful, and they saw that this is a fertile ground, not only because of the ag, but this is a good community to raise a family. So we came up with our strategic priorities. And so when you're asking me what my priorities are, is When you have a strategic plan, it's a living document. It is our, guiding north to all these agencies when we're recruiting businesses, when we know what areas and how do we want to grow. So my priority would be to go back and revisit our strategic plan and see if there's any tweaks that we need to do, that we need to adapt, especially after COVID. How are we going to, what the economy is going to look like, what new areas of opportunities we have. And I think that's something that we should be doing soon. And in my experience, what I'm doing right now as a chair of Tri-Cities Community Health, I keep going back to this because it's something that is every day in my experience. So we had a strategic priorities. And what we did this weekend is we got the leadership and our healthcare professionals. We had a retreat to plan to look at our priorities and what areas do we have to tweak and what are the areas of opportunity. So I would do the same thing with the county, and I would bring not only the county, but the city and all the stakeholders and together, and TriDec, of course, and visit Tri-Cities and all these different agencies and say, what do we need to work on? What do we have to improve or tweak a little bit on the plan that we have? So those are my priorities.
Rocky, what about you?
So the two main jobs of the county commissioner are to provide roads and safety law enforcement. And right now, our roads are in desperate need of repair. We have bridges that are not safe to drive across. And this is an agricultural community. We need to be able to get our agricultural product and services throughout Franklin County in a safe and timely manner. And where we're taking $1.7 million a year away from the road department, it makes it to where they can not, keep up with our infrastructure, to me is gross negligence. So my first priority is going to be to find out how we can go through the budget, find out how we can get our infrastructure restored, and make Franklin County a safe place to operate. There's areas right now where a commercial truck can't even get to because the weight limits on the bridge, they're too heavy. Even talking with the road department, they told me, it says this fall, when all the water's out of the irrigation canals, go out and stand underneath one of those bridges when a truck goes over. He says, we band-aided them together the best we can, but he says the flex when those trucks goes over is scary, and that needs to be addressed. And keep putting it off, it just makes the conditions worse. So eventually what's going to happen is one of those bridges is going to fail, and then we're going to be faced with lawsuits. And I hope not, but very likely it could be loss of life. Unsafe bridges is dangerous. So we need to get that addressed immediately. And then we need to make a plan for Franklin County. It's hard to get to a place if you don't have a plan. And people never fail to plan, they just fail to plan. So we need a plan to find out where we're going and how we're going to get there and how we're going to implement it.
Well, the plan is drafted, Rocky. Where do you think the $1.7 million might be recovered from? Where in the plan do you think some fat might be?
Well, once again, I'd say I would have to go through the budget and start looking to find out where that money is going. I do know that we spend an awful lot of money on law enforcement, and they do need it. We need to stand behind our law enforcement, and we need to provide them with everything that they have the necessary tools to protect the people of Franklin County. So it would be a matter of going through the budget and trying to find places where we can make cuts. But going into the budget is going to take some time and work, and we need to go through it and find out. I mean, there's programs in there for like the veterans that haven't even been touched in the last 5 years. So why do we have veterans homeless on the street if we're not even using that money for them? There's all kinds of questions that are going to come out when we go through that budget and find out where our money is being spent and if it is being spent efficiently.
And I do have an idea where there might be overspending going on in Franklin County.
When I asked that question to the different department heads, they have said that they have not met as a county to work on their priorities. So I think that when you cannot, it would be difficult and irresponsible for me to say something right now when we haven't even gotten all the departments together so that we can look at inefficiencies and where can we improve our budget. So that would be my first step. Again, when you come into a place, it's so hard and not conducive and not productive when you come with an axe. It doesn't work. I don't believe, that's not my philosophy. So getting the different departments to work together and look at, again, at what our priorities are, what our spendings are, and when we all sit down and we are looking at what this department do and this other and what the needs, I think there's we can build some consensus starting from there. And also, attracting more businesses, it's something that is important. We keep growing, and we're an area that is seems like we're going to keep growing again. So that is being mindful of the funds that we receive, the taxes that we received. It's important. So.
Rocky, I don't know, it's a question, but what's going on with the Republican Party in both counties? We've seen the unusual event of, in each county, the Central Committee has refused to endorse by significant margins an incumbent commissioner. What's going on? Delvin today at the Badger Club said he didn't leave the party left him, which of course everyone says that. But he said that he was so tired of it all that he's thinking of starting a new party or trying to take back the Republican Party that he knew was in the county 6 years ago. Has the Republican Party split itself in two?
I don't believe we've split ourselves in two. In fact, I know for Franklin County, we went from 19 PCOs to 52. So I would consider that a great improvement where we have more people involved in our community.
Sorry, I'm missing. You went from what, 19
to 52. We have 52 precinct committee officers in Franklin County Republican Party right now. More than we have had in years.
So are you getting a different kind of Republican there?
No, I think that we're just getting more people involved. I mean, it's with the situation that's going on right now in our nation, more people are getting involved where they were not involved before. 4 years ago, I went out and worked the contested ballot list, to make sure that everyone that voted got their vote counted. And I was surprised, shocked actually, at how many people can remember how they voted. And not that it mattered to me how they voted, but I just, I'd introduce myself and they'd say, okay, but I don't remember who I voted for. But I says, well, that's, regardless, we need to get your signature correct. It's your vote does count. And that was the main goal of getting out there and making sure that we did count every vote that is out there. As far as the Republican Party not wanting to endorse a particular incumbent, I think that they have felt that he maybe has lost his way in the Republican Party. And anything of that nature that they're basing that off would be self-induced. If you're going to be a member of the Republican Party, you should stand behind your rest of your party members. You shouldn't be encouraging members of the opposite party and trying to convince them to vote against party lines. And I believe that's probably where the whole thing started with the endorsements.
I'm confused, Rocky. Can you explain what you mean by?
One of the incumbents was endorsing a Democrat in the last race. And
in Franklin County?
In Franklin County, and that is against, the bylaws of the party. I mean, you endorse or you support people of your own party.
So
You don't go out and actively
Who
promote.
was doing that?
You know, well, it would be the incumbent that's not being endorsed.
And Rocky, are you endorsing the write-in candidate in that race?
I believe that Steve Bauman would do an excellent job, and the county would be very fortunate to have him.
Even though the incumbent is in your party, technically, you're supporting a write-in instead.
Well, I don't think he even asked for an endorsement. And I know he was invited to come out, but, you know, declined.
Anna, what do you think about what's going on with that write-in candidate in the other race? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have much to say.
Okay.
This is their own, I don't know, their own leadership. I believe they've had a meeting, Lincoln Day dinner protest or something like that, where I read in one of the publications that you had more than 750 people in attendance, and pictures of others that attended. They show no social distancing, no mask wearing, and this was the beginning of September. So this is where the write-in candidate came forth and was supported by the party. I don't know, it's, I can't comment. And it's, something I can say is, I've read somewhere from one of the people in your executive committee saying that the incumbent was supporting me and he got me to run. And I'm like, no, there's a lot of misinformation going around. I was also accused of destroying the signs of my opponent, and no, that's not true either. So I don't know.
So there wasn't any commissioners that encouraged you to run?
No.
No? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
The one thing that he did say is like, why are you running as a Democrat? He's like, because, I've all the work that I've done has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with doing the right thing. So that's all I have to say. Yeah. Although I've attended the Lincoln Day dinner for many years, I wasn't invited in the last 2 years. And I've also attended the Benton County, they had the yearly dinner. So I have friends. I am endorsed I have bipartisan support.
Mhm.
So I see the people, I see the person, I don't see the party. When we're making decisions, has nothing to do with politics. When we're approving budgets, when we are doing the business that we're tasked to do, and I don't think how politics gets in the middle of that. I think probably the challenger or the commissioner that is being challenged right now, he supported a person from another party because he thought, that person was the best candidate. So regardless of party, that was brave. And I think he made the right decision. That's all I have to say.
Rocky, what's your position on the redistricting discussion that's going on right now with the commissioners and the need for redistricting? How soon does that need to take place?
Well, I think that clearly shows a lack of policy and planning, because that was trying to be pushed through without even notifying the people in the community. I think that should be one of the first things I do when I get into office, is to form a redistricting committee. Put it out of the hands. The commissioners should have no drawing of the lines. That should be done by an unbiased committee group, so that it is fair and equitable for everyone, all residents of Franklin County. the situation that happened here earlier this year was, I don't even have words to describe it other than gerrymandering, because the complaint that they're having is exactly what they were trying to do. And they would have taken District 2 and condensed it down only to East Pasco. You know, what about the people in Connell? They weren't even notified of it. Even the newspaper up there didn't know about it. And so I took it upon myself to notify the Cattlemen's Association and said, hey, they are trying to redistrict without proper notification. No one in the county was aware of it except for those involved, and that is wrong. And that leads to corruption. The right thing to do would be to form the committee, have them drop several proposals, and then present it to the commissioners. But to let the commissioners draw the lines is just an open door for corruption. And it does need to be addressed, and it does need to be taken care of soon. I would like to see the census results first come in, but we definitely need to take a very good look and form the committee to decide the boundary lines, not the commissioners.
Sorry. I know, I'll unmute myself. Isn't the county under some pressure to get that done soon? Hasn't there been some lawsuit concerns? I mean, nothing filed, but isn't there some issues?
Well, they said that we were going to get sued, but even the people that supposedly were going to sue us wrote a letter and said, slow down. You haven't notified everybody. This has to be presented in newspaper, television, English, and Spanish. But yet it was trying to be pushed through without public notice, and that is wrong.
Who was trying to do that, Rocky?
Who was, I guess, in the lead on that would be Brad Peck.
And his motive was?
You know, it's hard to tell what his motives were. He kept claiming that we were going to be sued, but yet the very same people he said were going to sue us wrote a letter and said, slow down, you haven't notified the public, and that is wrong. What his underlying achievement was, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation going around out there of what it was, but that would be for someone else to investigate. He is not in my race. So
with the population growth in Pasco, isn't any redistricting likely to adversely affect the farm area to the north?
I don't believe it would if it's done correctly. I mean, we already have two districts that both represent the city of Pasco and the county. I mean, in District 2, where I reside, we have Colotes, Connell, Mesa, and Pasco. And District 3 has North Franklin County, which includes Basin City and Pasco. District 1 is basically only the city of Pasco. So if there is any district that might be out of line, it's District 1. District 1 should have representation of the county as well. The other two districts do. But that's why we need to form a committee and come up with something that is fair and equitable for all residents of Franklin County.
Anna, how do you feel about redistricting?
We have to follow the law. And 2/3 of the population, the county's population, the map is right there. That's what I looked at every day. So the green area is our district, District 2. And so we've known for a long time that the county was in violation of the Voting Rights Act. So I think what happened, if there was a mix of knowing that for several years, this problem has been kicked down down the road, and it was coming. So, or it is coming, but the process that it went through, it was not the right process. So it's difficult for me to comment a lot or enough on this. When one of the first meetings that I started attending, I was surprised to see that there was only one option, one proposal for redistricting. And the insistence, and it's on, it's public records and it's on a video, you can say, they were trying to redistrict the green district that you see behind me, which is District 2. They were trying to include my opponent. They said that it would be not moral to leave him out of District 2, even though they knew by population and by the Voters' Rights Act that district needed to be, he wasn't going to be included in it. And I had no idea that it was happening. So that is called gerrymandering. So I don't know. This is my only question was, did you have any other options, and who else, worked on this? And yes, as he noted, my opponent noted, this was something that worked without enough public input. So after that meeting, and a couple of days later, 4 proposals were presented. So there's 3 maps that we're still trying to gerrymander, so they could include the candidate that has announced for over a year that he was going to run. So I was surprised to even keep hearing that everybody openly said, we have to go with 1, 2, or 3 so that we can have this other person there. I just couldn't believe it. All that is, you can watch it. It's there in video. So that is, fortunately, that stopped, and we can follow a process now that we should have done a long time ago. So that's all I have to say.
So I have a question for Rocky here. You brought up the issue of public notice. I'm pleased to hear you say that, because Franklin County publishes its public notices in the Franklin County Graphic. Where's the population center of Pasco, of Franklin County? And where do you think it's appropriate for those notices to be published? Because right now, many of them appear only in the Franklin County Graphic, it's my understanding.
Franklin County Graphic is the only newspaper in Franklin County. So that's where they should be posted.
A newspaper.
We should support local county government or in county businesses. And Franklin Graphic is the only newspaper in Franklin County.
Well, I think that
their offices
look at the law.
The only offices. Now, if the Tri-City Herald wants to move to Pasco, pardon me?
You froze, Rocky.
I'm frozen too, but not for that reason.
We went to court about that a long time ago and didn't win.
I think we should support Franklin County businesses first. I'm sorry if that goes against your newspaper, but
at the cost of informing people of what's going on, Rocky?
I don't see how your newspaper would be any different than the Graphic. I mean, either I pay for the Graphic to come to my house or I pay for the Herald to come to my house.
Well, here's my question.
Okay.
How many newspapers does the Franklin County Graphic circulate? What is its typical circulation?
I would have to call them and find out what their circulation
If it's more than a few hundred, I would be shocked.
Well, I know it's at least 1,400 because they put 1,400 in the post office boxes in Connell. And I know that they also deliver to Eltopia Mesa and Basin City. And there are people in town that pay to have it delivered to their home. That much I do know because I do direct mail. And I do kind of know those numbers, but I do not know the numbers of their circulation. So
Okay.
I don't think I would be expected to know those numbers no more than I would know the numbers of your paper or the Herald being out there.
I'm just asking you to justify not notifying the people who live in much of the county with the county notices.
Well, we definitely need to find a way. We need to find a way to involve the community in everything. I think that the commissioner's agenda should be put in the paper as well, so people know what's going on. Because right now, unless you go to the commissioners' meetings, you really don't know what is happening. And that's and attending for 4 years, there were times I was shocked at stuff that would come up at the meeting and no public notice.
Okay, and I should point out, I've been retired from the Herald since 2011, but I am an advocate for the people's right to know. I didn't give that up when I retired. So it's not my newspaper. I feel a certain sense of commitment to it because I spent 35 years working there.
Sure.
But I also been a member of the Tri-City
appreciate that
for 44 plus years.
So why hasn't the Herald printed public notices?
Because Franklin County chooses not, I believe, somebody else might be better able to answer this, but Franklin County chooses to put them in the graphic because it's cheaper, because they don't publish very many copies, and because they don't circulate.
When you bid, you can't underbid the graphic. The Herald can't underbid the graphic.
So why don't they, what are the costs involved? Why don't they put it in both papers?
Fair question.
It's a good question. What's the answer?
I mean, I think the goal here is to let everybody know what's going on. And
exactly.
That's one thing I see not happening. I mean, like I said, I've attended those meetings for over 4 years, and it's surprisingly, sometimes I go to the meeting and I'm like, you're gonna do that? What? You know, and so an example, they were gonna rename one of the roads, and it was a road that I grew up on out in the county. They never even checked. The same road exists in Richland. You can't name two roads, or you shouldn't give two roads identical names. It's all it does is it lead to more confusion for the 911 response team, and you should have some public input on things like that. And the public's just they're not being told what's going on. And I think that gives too much leeway for what happens in the courthouse sometimes. The public need to be informed. And as far as the redistricting, I've seen two plans, being presented at the commissioners' meetings for a long time. It wasn't until this last year that proposal 3 and 4 came out. So that information is wrong. And
See Anna holding up a hand.
Pardon me?
I saw Anna holding up a hand.
Oh, holding up 4 fingers.
Oh,
I think
Well,
we need to get closings.
I'm a little confused because I don't know what is it then. At the beginning, my opponent said that he wanted to support only local businesses. And then at the end, he's saying that, the public should be informed. So what is it? Do we go to the extent of not only using picking and choosing winners as far as business goes in this, and sacrificing being transparent and being open to the public with public notices, where we can use the Franklin Graphic, the Herald, the radio, and there are many means of communication, and not only in one language. And that's something that it's a little bit personal to me. And when you go to a school district, all the information is bilingual, and there's bilingual staff. When you go to the city, they are more open and transparent, and they're trying to communicate with all the citizens in the languages they serve. And when you go to the county, it has been very difficult. So when we're talking about public notices that needed to be done in Spanish a long time ago, they also needed to be include Spanish and using radio, newspaper, and any means. So I'm a little confused, but I'm glad you are at the end. You are kind of getting to your own the understanding that we have to use all the means to communicate with the public.
I think I made it clear that like the notices should be in Spanish and English. So I don't, can you hear me at all or?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, we're getting it. Yep.
So I guess that would be the first thing, is just take a look and see what the cost is involved, because the people need to know what's happening and the notifications need to be sent out. I can't imagine that the cost to put them in both our newspapers or even in the Lavaz, you know, I mean, there has to be a set forth a budget to where we get everybody notified of what's happening. And I do like to support, you know, Franklin businesses. It's Franklin County, it's where we live, it's who we should support. So
I do.
The Tri-City Herald is Tri-City Herald for a reason, because it also serves, you know, not only Kennewick, where their offices are located. They also serve us. You know, I have a subscription to the Herald, so it's not only Franklin County. And if you know the community, the entire community, you would also know that there's radio, and the best way the community, the Hispanic community, gets their news is through the radio, because they're working in the fields and they're listening to the radio. They're inside the office, they're listening to the radio. They're on their shops, they're listening to radio. So do you want to really reach the community? So you use radio.
well, unfortunately, we do have laws that we do have to follow them. And I believe all legal notices have to be in print. So you simply can't just throw them on the radio.
You know what? I think we're gonna have to close. We're over time. so and I apologize that my screen was just freezing so much at the beginning. It's been working really well most days, but today it's been a struggle. But thank you for participating. I'm gonna let you both do your closing. I guess Rocky, will let you start first with your closing because Anna went first last time. So I'll just time you when you're ready.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am asking for your vote today. I do have 35 years of business experience. I do believe I am the most qualified for the position. I've attended the meetings for the past 4 years to better educate myself on the policies and the circumstances that are happening in Franklin County. Like I said, I've lived here my entire life, born and raised, and I know the community. I know the people involved. I know that the work that lies ahead. I know how to get the job done, how to get it started, completed, and finished. And I believe that through working together, we can and will achieve greatness in Franklin County. And I would appreciate your vote November 3rd. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Anna.
Thank you. My love for our country was instilled in me at an early age. My father was a doctor and a colonel in the Mexican army. His military unit was sent to assist American troops during World War II. He loved America, and from his service to our country, I came to love America too. There are deep roots connecting the US and Mexico. I was in my second year of college when I came to our country 22 years ago. And that connection was evident here in Franklin County. When I told my father that I was staying in America and not returning to Mexico to complete my college studies, he gave me his blessing and repeated what he always told me, to always ask, how can I help? That was 22 years ago. I was a newcomer and a new mom. I needed to learn how the school district, health system, and government worked, because these institutions impact all of our lives. I've learned about and got involved in leadership roles where decisions get made, volunteered and elected boards, committees, and staff meetings. All of these efforts taught me the value of listening, collaboration, and building consensus to accomplish strategic results. Voters have the opportunity to choose a proven and experienced leader who will work to bring us together so that we can face the challenges before us and emerge stronger than ever before. It is the moment for our county to have a proven, inclusive servant leader. Franklin County, like all counties in our state, is facing unprecedented challenges, but our people are strong. Our future is bright and our potential still limitless. Franklin County has a resilient spirit and we can overcome any challenge before us. If you would like to learn more about me, my endorsements, and my campaign, I invite you to visit electanaruiz.com.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for participating. We really appreciate it.
Thank
So,
you for the invitation.
yeah, no, this was great. Thank you. It was a good discussion. Thank you. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you for Diane.
Yes, thank you to both of you for running for office and putting yourselves in front of the voters. It helps when they have a choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All righty. Take care.
All right, have a good day.
Yep.